video here. I'm going to change out the horn on my motorcycle here, the NC700X. They come with these little cheap horns. I can't imagine why they would want to put those on there. They just get drowned out in traffic, and I don't know, you can hardly hear them really in traffic. Anyway, I bought a couple of PIAA horns. It comes as a set. 330 hertz is one of them, and the other one is 400. These PIAA horns don't need a new relay. You can just use the existing relay, and so that's going to make it pretty easy. If you look around under here, there doesn't appear to be a lot of room where you could put a couple of horns. You could maybe squeeze one of them in right here, but these things, they're not supposed to get water in them, and I'd be afraid of the spray going up inside of them. So anyway, I looked around and I found looks like the perfect place for them is to go right underneath this cover here. So getting this piece off of here is pretty easy. You've just got this one screw right here, Phillips head. Just pull that out. And then you've got these two push-in clips here. So you just push in the center, and then you just pry it out, and it pulls right out of there. Then you just have to push back on this thing, back towards the back of the bike. Okay, to get these back in, you spread these two prongs apart here while pushing up and holding this part, and then that'll push this centerpiece back up again. Then you can push it back into the hole, and once you get it all the way in, just push down on the centerpiece and it's locked back in place. Now, removing the old horn is really easy. All you got to do is get a 10mm wrench, and right on the back there's a nut. Just loosen that up. Remove the connectors from the bottom, which I already did. Just pull, these connectors just pull right off of here. Okay, so obviously we're going to have to do some wiring here, because we're going, for one thing, we're going from one horn to two, and also we're changing the mount point on the horn, so we need some longer wires to be able to reach where they are. So what you need to do is get some 16 gauge wire and some connectors. You're going to need two of these 1/4 inch spade connectors, one for each wire. That's going to plug into the existing connection on the motorcycle, one on each, one for positive, one for negative. Then connected to that is two strands of 16 gauge wire, and I've got one of them about 2 feet long and the other one about 3 feet long. And at the end are going to be female 1/4 inch spade connectors. So this one will be for either positive or negative, one or the other. So if I plug this into the negative side on the motorcycle, then both of these are going to go to the negative side on the new horns. And on the new horn, if you hold it like this and you've got this mount point here, this top connector is positive and this one is negative. So I would, for example, connect, if I was going to go from negative on the motorcycle, I would connect this one to negative, and then the other one on the same piece of wire would go to negative on the other horn. which is this one here. And same thing with the other one, which is positive. Exactly the same deal. 16 gauge wire, 1/4 inch male spade connector to go on the motorcycle end, and then I got about 2 feet of, it's actually more than that, but close enough, of wire to go to the nearest horn, and then about 3 feet or a little more to go to the one on the other side. Alright, so I'm going to mount this horn right in here. I'll just put it into position here. Right about there, I'm thinking. That's out of the way of pretty much everything. The cover will snap back in right here. There's nothing underneath it. So I'll just put a hole right here and bolt it in there. Just going to use a couple of these little screws here with a washer on it. I'll use another washer on the back side and a nylock nut so it won't back out. Wow, that's not going to move at all. That's tight. Okay, here's the 2 connectors for the old horn, and I need to plug my new wires into those. But before I do that, I'm going to figure out which one of these is positive and which is negative. It's not obvious by looking at them. There's a little white mark on this one, but I don't know what that means. So I have a voltmeter here, and I'm going to turn the bike on so I can get power to that and check it out. Plug that one in there and that one in there, and now I'll push the horn button and we'll see what happens here. Okay, that looks like that's connected correctly. So that means that this one is positive. So now it's just a matter of plugging in the wires and routing them up to where the horns are. Alright, I got the wires all routed here, and I'll show you what I did. I plugged them in down here. I ran the wires, all the wires, up through here. Behind this, up in here, it goes right up through this spot right here. And then it comes up into this area in here. And it's hard to see it in there, but it's actually easier if you take the wire ends that connect to down there by the horn switch, or by the horn connectors, and you run them down this way and then pull them down there and then plug them in. Because it's easier to fish them down through here. There's a little hole in there. You can probably see it better from here, right there. And you run them down there, and then so the 2 short wires I've got plugged in here. The insulated one was positive, so I've got that on the positive one, and the other one on the negative. And then the 2 long wires, I broke them off from the other ones right here and fished them across here, and then they go up to the other side there. They come across in here. You can see them there. Come across here and go up into here, and I've got them plugged in right here. Okay, thanks for watching.